has no, you know, that's not helped
Hey, this is shut
the
up.
child, that's not in the child's life at all. If this plays properly.
All right, Brian, what are you looking at today? What is, I love asking this. What is your point?
What is fine? I don't have any point today. No, my point today, I'm looking at the Unusual Whales, who runs a great Twitter account that has been exposing in real time, along with a lot of other great reporting that's been done. Business Insider made it, I think, didn't they do like a year-long investigation into this? And finally, pressure has been building on Congress to do something about it. And then Nancy Pelosi kind of just sabotaged the talks at the very end and stepped down as Speaker. Now, Kevin McCarthy has sworn that he is going to ban this. Like, he said this to kind of embarrass Pelosi. So we'll see. If Kevin McCarthy does become Speaker, we'll see if he does this as one of his first acts or not. So I wanted to run through. Unusual Whales put out its annual report on 2022 spending. We can put up that first element there, 2022 stock trading report. And so I think he runs through a lot of the numbers and has a bunch of kind of helpful little bars that we can talk about here. So first of all, it does appear that I think two things combined to reduce the amount of trading that was done in Congress. I think one is the public condemnation of it, that it just became kind of the juice not worth the squeeze anymore. But also, when the market is receding, you're making less money, you're less inclined to play around in it. Everybody thinks they're a genius when the market is rising because their trades are all paying off. And then people quickly realize that they're not geniuses at all when the market is retreating. And we're going to get to how Pelosi's family lost 20%, which actually lost to the market, which is fascinating in a minute. But we put up this second one. So that what that shows you right there is that the amount of trading went down. And so for the next one, it goes to here, that one right there. This compares the total value traded by members of Congress. One of the few people that increased significantly the amount of trading, Ro Khanna, who I think his spouse is super wealthy, and the spouse trading gets thrown into this as well. That's the case with Pelosi. Her husband Paul is a literal trader. Like that's his job. And then you have Josh Gottheimer down here after Michael McCall. Josh Gottheimer, who we're going to get to later, traded $64 million in options, buying and selling call options. But here he's down from 133 million in trading down to 52 million in stock trading this year. Rick Scott, not surprising, right? That he's one of the biggest traders out there. Bill Hagerty, that one surprise you?
No.
Then Tommy Tuberville got himself caught up in some really sketchy trades. I guess nobody has kind of confused him for a stock market genius either. It's like, wait a minute, Tommy, where'd you get these ideas? And then Richard Blumenthal, Connecticut, which is like the land of the traders. Mm-hmm. And so wouldn't be surprising that Richard Blumenthal also would be like, Richard, where'd you hear that?
Yeah,
on the flight back to Hartford,
on the train.
The train. Like, and he has also done a bunch of good reporting on the relationship between the amount of lobbying that's done and then the amount of trading that's done. So if you're lobbied by a particular industry, you're more likely to trade stocks of that industry. And you can imagine how that's happening. So somebody's coming in, they're telling you what they want to do on this, what they want on this particular bill. And then they're also saying, hey, and by the way, it would be really great for us because, one of our drugs is about to be approved for phase 3 FDA. And this is why that's important for us to have this particular type of regulatory relief. And the member of Congress like, what'd you say again about that phase 3? When's that news hitting? Oh, October 15th, sir. Just happy to share this information with you. And then boom, October 13th, you see this member of Congress buys a bunch of stock, and you know that they were lobbying. You don't know what happened, but you can put two and two together. So
but you can't prove it.
You can only prove it when you get whose phone did they bug? Like they actually caught some people. Like actually,
Chris
Cox. No, not
in New York.
New York congressman who actually got him like on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
Although, anyway.
And they also always say it's in a blind trust.
Oh, it's blind trust. I couldn't see it. I was just talking about it.
Yeah.
And so let's put the one that says top 10 stocks bought by House reps in 2022. I thought this one was interesting too. Look at Tesla. Democrats, of the $6 million worth of Tesla's stock purchased, almost all of it was by Democrats. First of all, they took a bath on that, right? I mean, that $6 million is now worth about $1 million or $2 million, depending on when they bought it.
We'll see what happens next year.
Yes. So it looks like Republicans were smart not to be buying Tesla in 2022. You also see the same partisan divide here with Apple and Disney and Google and NVDA. I don't even know what that one is. So what did you think of that Tesla breakdown? How funny is that?
It's
also,
really
it could just be the problem, and he makes this point. It could just be Pelosi or like Ro Khanna. Like in a bunch of his stats, he just pulled Pelosi out. It's like she ruins all the data because she trades so much, or her husband trades so much.
So what is the breakdown? You mentioned the Gottheimer breakdown. What is interesting about his trading? Because Tesla, to me, is a good reminder that like Elon Musk, especially with Tesla, has been trying to do this sort of public-private partnership thing for years, where he has been very heavily subsidized, and Teslas are very heavily subsidized. They're only at the price point they are because of like very heavy subsidies from Democrats that have been so interested in this transition to renewables and green energy. And that's why they've always been generally very supportive of Tesla. And it wasn't a toxic stock. It wasn't a toxic company to be in the mix with at all until Elon.
Anyways, y'all get the point. They were finna go in about, the Democrats supporting green energy or whatever, and that's the reason why they're covering Tesla. And then, you would think that it would be good. Tesla would continue to go up, but since Musk bought Twitter, and all the problems with Twitter is bringing down the Tesla stock, and that's one of the reasons why. But I think that the point is that the corruption. This is corruption on both sides of the aisle with their stock tradings, using the information that they get. Not only information, but legislation that they draw up. Corruption. Let me read some comments. It says, as an hourly worker, I can tell you that what is breaking the workforce is pretty clear. Turn and burn. Strategy to our employment, which translates for us into not caring at all about our jobs because our employer does not care at all about us. We are disposable. This is insidiously destructive work culture we exist in, not to mention the growing disparity between our wages and corporate compensation, wages which largely remain well below a living wage. Great comment right there. This one, it says, kind of explains why Senator Ossoff's bill to ban Congress from trading went nowhere. Gift is one of the few things that are bipartisan. And that's what I always say. Whatever you find that's bipartisan, then there's a clue there. That's something that you really need to look at. Another comment says, Dear Ryan, the problem is the information Pelosi and company have such as how votes are going to go that affect stock prices that are unknown to the public. These people also vote on bills that affect stocks that they invested in. The conflicts are undeniable. Yeah, it's pretty undeniable. I don't think they should be able to trade stocks at all, them or their spouses. Because their spouses, if you're married to them, your money is all mixed up together, so you directly benefit. And blind trust shit is bullshit. Another comment, it says, another word for stock corruption is crime. Yeah, it's crime. These people should go to jail.
I'm sorry if I end up getting voted to Congress or something like that. It's not cool for you to take my ability to invest in stocks and stuff like that.
No, I think no.
I am also going to have something set up to where I'm investing this percentage every time I put stuff in, and it will not change while I'm in office unless, major things go. I mean, you're saying you have no right to save money. You have no right to stop your money from taking major financial hits in a market where you know what's going to happen, not using your knowledge, but just having your money in there, seeing a wall is fucking coming.
You can still invest, you can still save money, regular IRAs or regular what do they call them, pension plans or whatever the hell, the same shit that all the regular people do. No, I don't think that they should be able to trade stocks at all because
those are stocks.
Yeah, but if
those are
it's
stocks and markets that you're buying, that's what an IRA is.
Yeah, but you don't have no control over what they're choosing to invest in.
That's called a blind trust.
No, when they're talking about blind trust, they're talking about these.
They're saying that they have no control or knowledge over what's being done. That the money just goes to an account guy, and the account guy handles all their stuff.
Yeah, but that's bullshit. They're lying, and that's the problem.
That's what an IRA is.
Yeah, so if it's just a regular, the kind of like your job just puts the money in there, and they whatever it is, the returns, whatever it is, you don't have no control over it at all. I mean, I'm sure there's ways to do it ethically, but because of our corruption, because how foul it is, I don't think any of them should be able to trade. That's just how I feel.
So you're going to do legislation to stop them from doing something because they might do something.
Because they're corrupt.
Starting to sound a little Big Brother there, man.
I don't care if they want to work. If they chose to get they don't have to work for the government. They don't have to be senators. They could, if they want to just trade stocks like a.
So they lose their rights. They lose their rights as Americans because they take political office.
Yes, they lose their right to be able to trade stocks. Yes. Yes, you want to if you want to work for the American people.
That's some fascist bullshit, dude.
That's how I feel about it. If you want to, you are supposed to be there to help you there because you care. You there because you want to, help the people. You're not there to enrich yourselves. Then that shouldn't be your concern. Your concern, how much they're getting paid, whatever. If it's paying their bills, that should be enough.
You're punishing people that aren't doing that though. What American anything is about punishing people for what they're not doing?
I don't think
you yell out about all people racism, punish people just because of the color of their skin, but you're encouraging punishment to people that aren't doing anything wrong.
I don't think it's a punishment. I think that if you want
absolutely it is.
If you want
being cut off from financial networks because someone else because
you shouldn't be in it for money.
Pelosi's making millions.
You should be in
I can't take my money that I'm making and put it into a fucking account or two.
No, you can put it in some accounts, but you can't put it in no accounts that's doing any kind of stock trading because you're working for the government.
Which means I can't put it in an IRA. I can't put it in a money market account. I can't put it into REITs. I can't put it into REAs. I can't put it into top Fortune 500. I can't invest it in any of those, which means I got to put it in the bank where I get 0.5% interest.
Well, that's your choice because you chose to be the government.
No. Fuck you, man.
That if you chose to work for the government.
That is some un-American shit, dude.
That's just how I feel. I mean, like if you want to work for the government, you want to help the people, then that's what you're doing it because you care. You're doing it because you want to make a difference. You're not doing it because you're worried about how much money you're going to be making.
One bus driver gets caught drinking and has to go to rehab. So all of them have to go to rehab or take driver classes because of the one.
I don't think that's a good analogy.
You know, okay, let's see.
That's just how I feel about it. If you want to work in the government, then you there because you want to help people. You're not there to enrich yourself. You're not there to flip money. If you want to flip money in the stock market, don't be in the government. Period.
They should be able to allow use of non-manipulatable accounts.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I say, I'm sure there's a way that it could be done ethically.
If their account is set up to only do the top, say, 10% dividend payers or whatever a year ago, I knew all the different markets and stuff. It's just set up on market base and not going in and saying, I'm buying this much of this company, this much of this one, and customizing it. I don't have a problem with it.
But that's not what's happening.
Exactly.
And we know that it's a lot of corruption. We know that they're getting in there to enrich themselves. A lot of the people are, and the ones that aren't going to be tripping about being able to trade stocks. I don't think so.
Hell yeah, they will be, because you cut off a major source of retirement income.
Well, do a better retirement. Have a better.
Hell no, they don't need a better retirement program. Matter of fact, they need to get off of the damn retirement program they're on and put on fucking Social Security like everyone else. They shouldn't be allowed to have anything but Social Security.
No, I don't agree with that. But 401k is fine. A really good 401k for government workers, where whatever matching funds or whatever the hell it is, some regular like shit that the rest of us do.
I don't think the government should have its own retirement funds. I think they should have. I think that if people want to go get those 401s, fine. But it shouldn't be done through government, because if Social Security is what it's supposed to be, then it wouldn't be needed, right?
I mean, that's a fair argument, but any job that you work on that's worth a shit is going to have some kind of 401k for you.
I think the individual insurance plan that's used by government and government people should be allowed and affordable to the normal public.
I agree with that. We all should have the same kind of health care that the
government
has.
Employees should not get better. I'm sorry, I'll tell you the truth. It is my opinion that government work should be the last thing anyone would ever want to do.
Unless they really want to help the people. That's my point.
That should be, I'm not talking about politicians. I'm talking about rank and file, all these people. I'm going to get me a good government job because it pays the best. No, that shouldn't be one of the government should not be one of the highest payers and best benefits.
And that's the way it is. And so
because the idea is the government is not supposed to be the number one employer. The government is not supposed to be so big that it takes over. It's not supposed to rule. It's supposed to keep things on the rails. It's supposed to have minimal of effect as possible in our daily life.
I agree with that. I don't disagree with that. But I'm talking about senators, House of Representatives, presidents, governors.
No, you're talking about these funkers that we've elected in here who are telling us that they are our decision makers and our leaders, and have lost the humility to understand that they are our representatives.
And that's what they should be doing, just representing the people, not trading stocks. Period. Once you get out of office, then you can trade stocks as much as you want to.
Like I say, different subjects, but they should have an oversight group paying attention to make sure that they're not making undue profits from
And-
their position.
And they tried to bring in legislation for that, but the Congress shut that down. And they said no. Thank you, God, for this day we have lived, everything in our life, our health, our family, the guidance you have given us, allow us guidance to the path of righteousness. Amen.
Really, I'ma get that bitch. Revenge is a dish best served cold. She took my son, now my soul is cold. He took my daddy, now my soul is old.